Good evening, I'm Sébastien Saint-François. We begin tonight with the aftermath of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The ex-president is already in Milwaukee tonight for the Republican convention where he will officially be nominated. Even if the last 24 hours have brought some answers about the event, many questions remain unanswered tonight. Richard Madden has today's details.
I want to speak to you tonight about the need for us to lower the temperature in our politics.
Addressing the nation from the Oval Office, U.S. President Joe Biden condemned the vicious attack that could have killed his political rival.
For an attempted assassination on Donald Trump, there is no place in America for this kind of violence.
That terrifying moment played out on live TV Saturday night. Gunfire erupting, Secret Service agents rushing the stage, Trump dropping, then getting up to raise his fist, captured in this historic image. The FBI is now investigating the shooting as a potential act of domestic terrorism, probing how a gunman managed to evade the Secret Service and position himself on a rooftop just outside the venue with a clear shot to Trump's stage. Federal agents killed the shooter, identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of nearby Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, who they say acted alone. The gunfire grazed Trump's right ear, but killed one spectator, local firefighter Corey Compriator, who's being remembered as a hero.
The Corey dove on his family to protect them last night at this rally. Corey was the very best of us.
Investigators say Crooks used an automatic rifle registered to his father and found bomb-making materials in his car and at his home. Witnesses are still shocked at the chaos that erupted around them.
It just all happened so fast. But then we heard other shots, and we're not sure, but we thought that might be the Secret Service.
In a statement, former President Trump called on the nation to show our true character as Americans, remaining strong and determined and not allowing evil to win. Former First Lady Melania Trump also posting a rare public statement. When I watched that violent bullet strike my husband Donald, I realized my life and Barron's life were on the brink of devastating change.
I've already announced that Congress will do a full investigation.
House Speaker Mike Johnson vowing a full public grilling of top security officials on what lapses may have occurred, while at the same time pleading for politicians to dial it back.
We've got to turn the rhetoric down. We've got to turn the temperature down in this country. We need leaders of all parties on both sides to call that out.
In the wake of this tragedy, both campaigns have readjusted their plans heading into November. Republicans have paused their online fundraising, while Democrats have pulled their attack ads and postponed upcoming rallies this week as they look to recalculate how to define Trump, who many now view as a brave survivor. Richard Madden, CBC News, Washington.
Today, Prime Minister Trudeau got in touch with former President Trump. A readout of the discussion between the two made public earlier this afternoon says in part, and I quote, Prime Minister Trudeau spoke this afternoon with former President Trump. The Prime Minister condemned yesterday's appalling assassination attempt and reiterated there's no place for political violence. The Prime Minister wished the former president well and offered condolences to the shooting victims and to the family of Corey Compriator. Federal Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc also reacting today, saying he has met with RCMP, Canadian Security Intelligence, and Public Safety Canada officials, and that they have assured him they are exercising increased vigilance after the attack. The Public Safety Minister said intelligence indicates there is no link to Canada at this time. With the LCBO strike entering its second week, consumers were supposed to get some relief, but the liquor retailer announced today it is walking back a plan to open some locations. Lane Harrison has more.
This Friday, 32 LCBO stores were supposed to be open with limited hours across the province, a contingency measure that would have started 14 days into the strike. Now, Ontario's primary liquor store says it will be sticking to online sales, something it says will benefit the restaurant industry, which an industry group is happy to hear after it says businesses faced issues securing booze online.
Resources are limited, so obviously opening up the 30 plus stores was going to further tax the system and the resources that they have. So what I understand is that there was going to be more resources available to ensure that our industry has that access to consistent product as much as possible. By no means is this going to be business as usual for our industry, and I think there's going to be still some challenges for sure, but I do feel more confident.
Staff who were supposed to be working the stores will now shift to other roles, the LCBO says, promising the change will increase product selection, availability, and delivery speed for both restaurants and consumers. This event planner is worried about relying on the website.
Ordering online isn't always the best option because there's limitations of how much of certain alcohol you're able to order, plus everybody's ordering. So there are delays, and with events, I mean, we can't really reschedule these types of things, such as, weddings or bridal showers. People are still going to come, they're going to show up on the day.
Now, this comes amidst unprecedented labor action at the Crown Corporation. Since July 5th, roughly 9,000 LCBO employees have been off the job. OPSU, the union representing them, says it wants the province to reconsider its plans to expand alcohol sales to private businesses like convenience stores, or it wants the government to make up the revenue it says the LCBO could lose. But Premier Doug Ford is not backing down.
LCBO remains ready, eager and willing to get back to the bargaining table, but rolling back a plan we have a clear mandate from the people to implement isn't up for discussion.
Official figures from the province and LCBO show Ontario could lose between $150 and $200 million in net revenue as a result of the alcohol sale changes. The union says it's committed to keeping that revenue public. As of Friday, talks between both sides have broken off completely, with no end to the strike in sight. Lane Harrison, CBC News, Toronto.
To southeastern Ontario, where emergency crews and community members have been searching for a 14-year-old who went into the water and didn't come out. These videos sent to CBC News show members of the public combing the shore of Port Stanley's main beach earlier today. Several dozen beachgoers linking arms to form a human chain searching for the missing teen. Ontario Provincial Police say they responded to the call around 3 p.m. and brought in a helicopter and a marine unit to assist with the search. According to the latest update from police, the teen has not yet been located and the search continues. Back to Toronto now. Community members rallied earlier today to protest the closure of the Ontario Science Centre. The event comes just days after provincial leaders doubled down on their decision to shut down the popular attraction over safety concerns and the cost of repairing the aging buildings. Ryan Patrick Jones has the details.
And be out of reach to many children.
Just before a rainstorm rolled through the city, dozens gathered in Flemington Park calling on Premier Doug Ford's government to save the Science Centre.
I think it built a lot of my imagination and creativity. I'm very sad, and I think that will be really hard for other children, and that would miss a big part of their education if they don't have the experience that we all did.
It has been, over the years, a wonderful place. There are so many things that were at the Science Centre that help my kids learn about science.
Local politicians came out to show their support, including Mayor Olivia Chow.
You're not going away. Yes. You're not giving up hope. And I feel that power right here.
Earlier this year, an engineering report found structural issues with some roof panels on the 3 buildings that make up the Science Centre complex. It recommended extensive repairs or replacement, not a closure. Despite that, the province abruptly shut the doors just over 3 weeks ago.
At the end of the day, this is not a safe building. It just doesn't make sense to throw good money into an old, decrepit building.
Provincial leaders released a peer review of that report earlier this week and detailed other maintenance issues with the building's heat, sprinkler, and electrical systems. All of it would cost nearly $500 million to fix, the province says, but critics question those estimates.
That figure is actually $220 million. Not an insignificant amount, but that's deferred maintenance over the last 15 years and 6 years of the Ford government deferring maintenance.
The Ford government had already been planning to move the Science Centre to a redeveloped Ontario Place. It's now looking for a temporary location until the new one opens in 2028, but the fate of the existing building is unclear. Meanwhile, the City of Toronto, which owns the land, is exploring its options, with a staff report coming out Monday morning. Mayor Chow encouraged those at today's rally to make their voices heard this week.
Come to the executive committee and talk about your dreams, your imagination, and your power of what you want to do, okay? And then you talk about what role the city can play.
But the mayor admits with the city's financial challenges, it's limited in what it can do to save a place that's loved by so many. Ryan Patrick Jones, CBC News, Toronto.
A major intersection in Toronto will be closed as of tomorrow. The intersection of Bloor Street West and Spadina Avenue will be under construction for the week, part of the city's makeover for one of their main roads, including sidewalk and road replacements.
Driving in this area is an absolute nightmare. It has been, and with big closures like this, it's even worse.
And we use this pathway a lot, and just it being closed is just not helpful for us at all.
Personally, I like it more because I don't have a car, so I bike everywhere. And so the bike lanes getting fixed would be great for me.
This the final phase of the Bloor Street West reconstruction project. The city is set to complete the job by the end of August. And a heads up to LRT users in Ottawa, because starting tomorrow, about half of the Confederation line won't be in operation for approximately 2 weeks. Line 1, yes, between Tunis Pasture and Rideau stations are expected to be closed until July 28. This due to planned maintenance work needed at both stations. Replacement buses and express shuttles will be operating during the partial shutdown. Speaking of which, you're looking live at Ottawa tonight. Environment Canada has issued a heat warning for the area, a warning that may continue right into Tuesday. And Sophia joins us now with more. There's heat in the forecast, and there were some storms today, Sophia.
Yeah, we're going to see the same cycle repeat itself for the next few days. Thanks very much. Look at the overnight conditions right now into the mid-20s. It's these sticky overnight lows along with warm daytime highs that are the perfect fuel for these thunderstorms. Look at this tree in the Burlington area that was no match for the powerful winds in this storm today. Winds up to 90 kilometers an hour. This was, by the looks of it, a compromised tree, but still with winds in excess of 70, even 80 kilometers an hour throughout this squall line that we had this afternoon. Yes, there was heavy downpours as well, but look at this. It was a cold front that really converged all the way from Barrie to Hamilton for this powerful straight-lined wind setup. Really fizzled out on the east end of the city, but packed a punch in the west end. The sufficient daytime heating will provide fuel for more storms over the next few days. We are talking about daytime highs in the high 20s, feeling closer, if not to the 40s with the humidex for Monday afternoon. Similar setup for Tuesday as well, flirting with the high 30s all across the region, feeling like 36, 37 in the Ottawa region as well. There will be storms for the next few days. I will play out the timing for those of you and about the wet morning commutes possible along with the hot and humid conditions in the long range.
Welcome back. Cancer has claimed the life of actress Shannon Doherty. She was 53 years old. Doherty, you might remember her, was best known for her role in the 1990s television series Beverly Hills 90210. The CBC's Magda Gebrselassie reports.
It's the early 90s.
Where?
Beverly Hills 90210 is a hit show, and Shannon Doherty is one of its biggest stars.
I could be anybody. I could be somebody.
The show centered around the Walsh twins from Minnesota, the new kids at a Beverly Hills high school. Doherty played Brenda Walsh.
It's the first show that really portrays teenagers as having intelligence and really deals with controversial issues, and it appeals to a huge group of, all ages.
Hi! Acting appealed to the star very early on. Born in Memphis, by the age of 10, she was on TV. She landed roles in Father Murphy and Little House on the Prairie. She was on the big screen in the cult classic Heathers.
Where's Heather going?
She's going to cry.
Professionally and personally, Doherty's success came with its struggles. Alleged fighting on the 90210 set between Doherty and her co-stars dominated tabloid headlines. She was let go from the show after 4 seasons.
The power of 3 will set us free.
Doherty found success with her other hit show, Charmed, but was forced to leave that one too, amid reports of a feud with her co-star, Alyssa Milano. She moved on to other projects, acting, producing, directing, and even appearing on Dancing with the Stars. Then in 2015, her health made headlines.
Stunning news from actress Shannon Doherty. The former Beverly Hills 90210 star revealed that she has breast cancer.
In 2017, her cancer was in remission. But a few years later,
I have stage 4, so my cancer came back.
The cancer spread to her bones and eventually her brain. She battled while facing other devastating blows too. There was the death of her 90210 co-star and friend, Luke Perry. She also filed for divorce from her third husband. Through it all, Doherty vowed not to give up.
It takes work and perseverance and a lot of dedication and faith to get through certain things. I'm not a quitter.
So she fought hard for so long until the end. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Toronto.
Weather today helped the defense of Labrador City from wildfire. There was rain and the wind blew from the town in the direction of the fire. That being said, Labrador City is still threatened and residents are still a long way from home. The CBC's Heather Gillis reports.
With an inferno threatening Labrador City, 9,000 people were forced to flee Friday with minutes' notice.
Panic sets in anyway when you get in a situation like that, right? Being forced out of home and you don't know what to take.
Jason Hines took his Chihuahua Taco, driving 500 kilometers east to Happy Valley Goose Bay. A difficult journey, double the usual time, heavy, slow traffic, long lines for gas.
It took us 2 hours to get out of town, about 4.5 hours to get to Churchill, and I slept for 3 hours, got up, waited in line up again for 4 hours to get gas, and got gas and made it here.
But no pets allowed in this arena, now a 150-bed shelter, so Hines is sleeping in his car.
The SPCA offered to take him. I can't just leave him. He's stressed out enough.
He's not alone. Charlie Russell fled with an entire dog sled team, 12 huskies in his truck.
We had 3 rabbits and a Shih Tzu besides. We were just like the hillbillies.
Happy Valley Goose Bay's mayor is asking people to help house those with pets and accessibility challenges. This is the second time in a month the town has hosted fire evacuees. They're being urged to register with the Red Cross so the province can distribute help like emergency payments and hundreds of meals.
We do have some cereal.
The out-of-control fire has burned about 14,000 hectares. 4 water bombers are working the Labrador side. More are attacking from Quebec. So far, the weather is helping.
Temperatures did fall. There was some minor precipitation. The winds have changed to an easterly-northeasterly pattern, which will blow the fire back on itself.
The fire is still on the town's doorstep, still unpredictable. With rain and possible thunder and lightning in the forecast for Monday, the Premier says it's still too early to predict when people can go home. Heather Gillis, CBC News, Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Welcome back. Well, Canada's Copa America run came to an end last night after losing to Uruguay in a penalty shootout in their fight for top 3. But fans are staying positive.
It was okay. Canada deserved to win that game. Charlie, they played so great. Cone, I love you. You did amazing. I love the team.
This was their first time in the competition. They were the only non-South American team to make it to the semifinal, where they lost to World Cup winners Argentina. Now that team is facing against Colombia tonight, and they're looking to win it a second time in a row. Earlier today, the Euros had their final game, Spain netting the winning goal in the final minutes of the match.
Spain were the best team in the tournament, so they deserve to win it. That's it.
That was great. I also love Spain. Yes. I usually would cheer actually for Portugal, but I'm very happy that Spain won. So, yeah, that was great.
So Spain are now European champions for a record-breaking 4th time after beating England 2-1. Their most recent tournament win came in 2012, just after their World Cup win in 2010. Princess Kate made another public appearance today, attending the men's final match at Wimbledon. It was her second appearance since her cancer diagnosis earlier this year. Her daughter, Princess Charlotte, was with her. Inside center court, Kate received a standing ovation. She presented Spain's Carlos Alcaraz with the winner's trophy, the Spaniard having just beat Novak Djokovic in the men's final. Kate says she hopes to attend a number of events this summer. back with us now with a look at our forecast for the week. Are we going to be able to play a bit of tennis, Sophia?
You will if you can play when it's a little cooler in the evening, maybe heat warning in place. Be careful if you're susceptible to heat-related illness. If you are out doing any extenuating activities outside, Toronto, Hamilton, Niagara Falls, London, Windsor, Ottawa, all included in the current heat warning. It's due to last till Tuesday. We also have stormy conditions and humidity until then as well. Storms overnight into Monday morning, anywhere from Dryden to the Nickel Belt, and then watch overnight storms through Michigan really pump up for Monday morning, anywhere from Windsor all the way to Niagara Falls. It's a rinse and repeat similar setup for Tuesday with more widespread storms across much of the GTA. Again, overnight storms coming in from Michigan for much of southwestern Ontario and for much of the GTA as well. It'll be those storms that finally clear out the atmosphere. There's your risk of potentially severe storms into the southwest for pre-dawn Monday. That's for your breakfast hour commute for tomorrow. And then Monday afternoon, the chance of more widespread but more scattered storms throughout much of southern Ontario. You can imagine why when you have heat like this into the low 30s along with a really sticky, hot, humid air mass coming in that will make the feels like values into the low 40s for many for both Monday afternoon and into Tuesday. Sticky overnight lows are a big part of the problem as well, along with smoke coming in from the prairie provinces. We are talking about decreasing and deteriorating air quality. It's not hazardous at all. It is moderate to poor. But then as we head into midweek, we are finally back to seasonal and you will breathe a little bit more fresh air. Sebastian.
With all these showers, maybe we should take to water polo a little bit more.
Sounds good, as opposed to the tennis.
There you go. Thank you so much, Sophia. And for our last story tonight, you might say we kept the best for last because a beloved Jamaican patty shop in Toronto is making a comeback after closing up shop over 2 years ago.
Some 50 years now, I grown up eating Randy's patty. This is a part of our culture. What would we do without them? They have parties, but there's none like Randy's parties.
In the community for decades, and when it closed down, we were kind of sad, but now it's going to reopen. It's going to be bigger, better.
The restaurant closed its doors in February of 2022, and the news was met at the time with heartbreak from the community. There is no official opening date yet, and the family-owned shop first opened its doors in 1979. Well, that's our show for you tonight. Thanks for watching. You can stay caught up on any news on our website. Thank you so much.